Sometimes you have to trust in advance what will only make sense in reverse. Marketing, sales, mindset, discipline, perseverance, fulfillment, investing, experiencing, learning, and yes, failing. All of these are the ingredients for success. Mix them as you wish. There is no recipe, there is no magic pill, there is only passion. And by mixing all of these and learning from this podcast, you will have the tools to become successful and to be free. This is Osvaldo at Oswapreneur, and I want to help you grow your business and be driven to work every single day, because then, and only then, you will find true happiness and you'll help others in it too. So stay attentive and listen closely, because today, your life might be about to change. See you inside. Hey guys, what is up? Welcome to this new episode. I am Osvaldo Gutierrez at Oswapreneur on social media, and welcome. As promised, this episode will be about my life, my journey, so that you can get to know me a little bit more. You get to know the projects I've been working on, what I'm doing right now, and what has happened in my life that has brought me to be here with you today. So at the end of the day, it all goes together, whether we see it or not. And that's what I love, that quote that I heard in Jeremy McGillivray's podcast. It's called J Money Marketing Podcast. I really recommend it to you. And he said that quote from someone else, but I heard it from him. So let's go back to that quote before getting into more of who I am and what I mean with that quote in this episode is, let's go back to it. You sometimes, or well, in my point of view, most of the time or every single day, you have to trust in advance what will only make sense in reverse. You have to trust in the moment. You have to trust in what you're doing, in what the activity that you're doing, even if it's something that's getting momentum, something that's going on really good, or maybe you're right now on a pothole. Maybe right now you're not on the best time in your life. You're facing trouble, maybe some health issues, maybe I don't know. It could be even bankruptcy. I don't know. Each of us are living our own life, our own situations. I don't know where you're at, but what I know is that every single day you have to trust in advance that maybe you do not understand what's happening right now to you, but believe me, it will all make sense in reverse when the future comes and you look back and you're like, even though this was not a really happy time for me, it did this and this and this. And this is something that I have always lived by and gone through. One of the phrases that I love the most out of every single quote, out of every single word spoken by a person, are those from Tony Robbins that let us think that things don't happen to us, but they happen for us. There is a meaning behind every single thing that we're doing, and that's why I mentioned this quote right now, because I'm going to be talking to you about my life, about my previous successes, about my previous journals, paths, passions, failures, some sad things along the way that has happened, but everything I have trust in God and in life that it was for my bigger future, and that everything just puzzles down together and finds your best self. And I mean, I love this quote, and I hope you love this too. And I hope you comment down below if you already were thinking about your life and the moments you're going through on that way of thinking, or if you were thinking that life was just happening to you. And what are you gonna do? What type of action will you start taking today? Now that you know that it's happening for you, that everything has a reason to be, and that it's all gonna work out at the end. So now let's jump into my life. I'm gonna go really deep. I'm gonna be real and raw with you guys. I'm gonna be hiding anything. I wanna be only and only my true self with you. I care about you, and I want to befriend you, and I want to be your coach and your mentor. So I know that in order to complete this, you gotta trust me, and I gotta be completely 100% open with you, and that's the whole point of today's podcast. So bear with me. There's gonna be some really cool things that has, well, for me, really cool things that have happened across my life, and I hope you enjoy what we're gonna talk about today. So let me adjust the lighting for those of you who are in video. Awesome. Yeah, sorry for the haircut. Sorry for the hairstyle. I need a haircut too. I know that. But awesome. Well, so remember my name. I am Oswaldo Gutierrez. I was born here in Mexico, in a city named Toluca, like about 45 minutes from Mexico City. It's not quite where I live right now, but it's really close. Yeah, I was born here in Toluca on June 8th of the year 2000. So today is Tuesday, and this Tuesday, the 4th of June, this next Saturday, the 8th, it's gonna be my birthday, my 19th birthday. Yes, I am 18 years old, an 18-year-old entrepreneur. And well, that's where it all started, obviously. I have two siblings, and what I love about my life is that since the beginning of it, I started to be fearless, and I consider myself fearless. I obviously am afraid all the time, but still I am fearless. I mean, since I was 3 years old, I started to do horse riding on a traditional way that is called charreria here in Mexico. And you saw me like really tiny little thing, and I wasn't afraid of being on a really big horse that was 10 times my size, my height, and that could just, I don't know, step over me and kill me. But I was fearless since I was 3 years old, and up until I was about 8 to 9 years old. I still, I fell in love with horses. I fell in love with the art and the sport, because it's both things at the same time for me. And yeah, that's where my journey started. I've always been a sports lover. I am really competitive, and well, once I was 6 years old, I entered primary school, elementary school, and my mother wanted me to be part of the choir. As you may already guess from the sound of my voice, I am not a good singer, not at all. So I was literally the little kid in the back of the choir, just ringing some bells, because my voice just didn't work out. I was just like a chicken with the head cut off. I just couldn't sing at all. So yeah, my mom wanted me to do that, but after the first semester went by, I just couldn't handle it anymore. And my music teacher, Laura, who I'm really grateful for, told my mom that I should better try out violin. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And so on January 2007, my journey on the violin starts. My passion right now, it's still my passion. I started to play the violin at age 6 yet, and my fellow classmates had already 6 months playing violin, because they had experience while I was singing in choir. For those of you who can't see me, I am coding my hands, so singing in choir. And not 2 months went by, and I was already at their level, at their expertise, and then I started to go higher and higher and higher. Out of all of them that started playing violin with me, I am the only one who still at today keeps playing violin, and I think that's pretty cool. It's my passion. I completely love it. Yeah, I love music. I love art. I love violin. Yes, I do like classical music. I do love classical music, but I also play rock, pop, even metal, even electric music. Like anything you can imagine of, I do play that. So that's when my passion started to come off, and I have this really amazing story from when I was about 8 years old. And bear with me, because this story is also applied to your lives right now. My teacher back since I was 6 years old, used to tell us always that there was this song called The Canon from Johann Pachelbel. You might know it. That is really beautiful song, but he used to say that it would be really hard and that we would have to be at least 15 years old to start playing it. And guess what? There was one night when I was 8 years old that I just couldn't handle anymore. I said, well, F it. I went to my dad's computer, I printed some free scores from Google, and I carried my an electric piano we had, so that I could use it as a stand for the scores. I printed the scores, and just sitting from 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. on my bedroom, on pajamas, and I was just there singing by myself, and I started to learn how to play the canon by myself at 8 years old, or 8 years old, almost 8 years old. And yeah, that's one of my very first accomplishments, and that's one of the parts where I started to realize that there was actually no one could tell me what to do, or what I could do, or what I wasn't able to do. It all depended upon me, and I'm sure that you relate to this. There's just nothing you can do. It only requires, like we mentioned on the previous episode, a decision to take a chance, and then your life simply changes, and all your perspective and all your mindset simply changes, and it's amazing. So that happens afterwards. On the same journey in the violin, I want to be part of a talent show, Coca-Cola talent show in my hometown, and guess what? It was me, 8-year-old me, playing the canon by Pachelbel against 17, 18, 20 years old dudes doing rock bands. And I remember a guy who did this amazing solo drums solo, and I was there with my violin and my bow and my scores playing the canon. And it was a really long talent show. I was like the 17th out of 90 participants. It lasted more than 4 or 5 hours, maybe even longer. And my dad and my mom had to leave. My violin teacher had to leave, and my dad was just really tired. And he told me, okay, let's go. He calls me Bando, like Osvaldo Bando. So Bando, let's go. It's okay, you did a really good effort. This will take so long. No worry about it. Maybe we'll listen who won. And I was persistent and resilient and perseverant, and I was like, no, I am not moving my butt out of this chair, because I need to stay until the last moment to receive my award, because I'm gonna be winning the first prize. And my dad was like, come on, I know you're excited, I know you trust yourself, but let's go. And I was like, no, there's no way I'm gonna win the prize. And at the end of the day, guess what? Yes, the little 8-year-old kid with his violin and a really ugly haircut, like this one for those of you who can see me, won first prize for that talent show. Not because I had the brightest song, or not because I was the most talented prodigy in there, but because I had the courage to step onto a stage in front of tens of people for the first time by myself, and compete against 17, 18 years old people. So that's why I won, and I remember this bold guy with the microphone stating these words, and I knew again, I knew, and it just confirmed myself that I had to be perseverant my whole life, because there was just nothing that I could not accomplish. Like, I mean, I was trusting in advance, sitting in that chair, looking at this amazing guitar and drum solos, and I was just trusting in advance that it would all work out, and I was confident on myself. So, and yeah, as I can see today, and I saw it like 2 or 3 or 4 hours later, and today I can see like even a wider picture and bigger picture of how it has impacted my life. But I saw, I still trusted in myself and my skills and my courage and my heart that it will all work out. So yes, that's an amazing story of me. I hope you can relate to that in some part. I know you're not 8-year-olds anymore, but I hope that you can relate to that and learn something from that. So that's on the side of the violin. Right now, I started to play. That was about 8 years old. Then I started to play on 2009 soccer because I got excited for the 2010 South Africa World Cup. So I started to play soccer with my neighbors, with a friend of mine called Paco, who you will listen more about him later today. And I entered into a soccer team. It was really, really, really ugly field soccer. Like, I mean, you could literally fall because of the rocks and the dirt. There was, I don't think there was one single grass in all that field, but it was fun. But I wanted and I desired so deeply to be a goalkeeper. And the coach, whose name is Juan, I remember of him with a lot of warmth in my heart. He made me learn a lot of things about myself and about my perseverance, but he just wouldn't let me be a goalkeeper. He put me on the defense, and I have never been good with my feet, so I just hated it. And every single training I wanted, okay, can I put my gloves on? Can I put my gloves on? Can I put my gloves on? All through 4 months of training in that team called Monaco. Can I put my gloves on? No. And that was just simple no. And every time that he wasn't there and I just played as a goalkeeper in the trainings, I just burned my hands and got all these bruises out of the rocks for flying to get the ball and to do my best work because I was passionate about being a goalkeeper. 4 months go by and I just leave that team and I go to a place where I can get a personal goalkeeper training called Ismael, and this guy just trained me and even though I was not even 10 years old, I think I was 10 years old by that time. I just couldn't handle it. I will post a picture of me training back then, and you can see all the dirt in my pants, in my shirt, my face that I could just couldn't handle it anymore. It was so hard. For those of you who like soccer, most people think that being a goalie it's easier than being a player, but believe me, it's way tougher than you think. And well, it started to drive my passion for soccer. 6 months afterwards of being a goalie, not even 6 months, like 3 months afterwards, this friend of mine, this neighbor of mine, Paco, I go to his house to play a couple minutes soccer, and he tells me that my hometown team was making tryouts to be part of the professional underleague team of them. And I was like, whoa, let's go. And I went with him. He convinced me. And he was a really good soccer player. He was, I don't know what position he played, but he was really passionate too. Really, lots of courage. He used to get pissed in every single game. And well, we went to the tryouts, and since the first day, I was like really small for being a goalkeeper, and I was competing against really tall dudes because you're supposedly you have to be told to be a good goalkeeper according to them. I do not believe that, but I made my best effort and I passed the first tryouts. Then I go to the second. I go into the next phase and to the next until the fourth tryouts come, when it's the final day, when they are gonna tell us whether we stay in the team or thanks for coming in, keep trying next year. And it was amazing because I just couldn't believe that I was elected. I was elected to be a goalkeeper of my hometown's professional underleague team of my age, U10. So it was really cool. I would never believe it. Most of them were playing since they were like 3 or 4 years old, and I had just been a goalkeeper for about 3 months. So that was amazing. It wasn't that cool because I wanted to celebrate, but Paco was not elected, and I had to keep that resistance and be empathic to him. But well, he later on he entered Toluca too, and it was really nice having him too. He went on for more time than I did actually on soccer. But yeah, that was a really cool experience. Like coming out of my comfort zone, not letting anybody tell me what to do or what not to do. Again, not making. I'm not good with authority. And even though he was my coach, I used to nevertheless put my gloves on and stand in the goalie until I could get a chance. So yeah, that was a really amazing experience too, starting to go into Toluca. That's the name of the team. And it what soccer showed me was how to be a teammate, how to be a leader, because as a goalkeeper, even if I was not the captain, I was a captain, because I saw everyone. And if you ever got to saw me, or you get to see me playing soccer, you see me getting all of my passion in screaming to the people, screaming to my players, telling them what to do, telling them where to move, telling them who to pass the ball, turning to shoot. It's really an amazing experience, and if you are a sports advocate like me, then you will get my point. But it was really amazing. All the perseverance that I got. I used to train being 11 years old, 12 years old, 13 years old, and 14 years old. I trained 3 hours plus every single day for more than 5-6 years in that team. I played in 2 teams at the same time because I wanted to go into a higher level. I did everything I could. Sometimes I didn't even eat before the trainings because I didn't have time between school and soccer, and violin, because I kept playing violin on the mid time. And like, for example, yes, I really like this thing that Tim Grover, Michael Jordan's personal coach, says, and I feel really related to this, that once you see, for example, Tom Brady, Michael Jordan, Cristiano Ronaldo, Messi, you can see a pattern that every single great sports player has a skill, has leadership, blah blah blah, but they have this ability to to see in the future and predict what the play will be like, where the ball will go, whose pass will be received, what's the best opportunity, when to scream, when not to, how to move. So it's this about being 2 steps ahead, because you get to know the game so well, and you get to be so strategic in your mind about the game, that you get to see every single part of it. You get to predict, and I feel really about this because that was one of my skills that I got with time, experience, and also I think it's also a God-given gift that I have. Also, I apply this for business, for sports, for violin, for relationships, anything I do, I apply it. But yeah, I had this ability that I resemble so much with the great names in sports history, and that showed me that it wasn't the skill, that it was not always the skill, but the skill does matter. It was the training, it was the hard work, but it was, number one thing was the mindset, was the mental capabilities that you had, that you imposed yourself, that you trained yourself. And it's only here. Maybe, I played tons and tons of games with a wrist partially broken, with my ankle hurt, like normal person would step out of the game and ask for someone to replace them in that moment. But that's on your body, on your mindset, on here, and on your heart. It's where the true strength comes from within, and that's why when I start to train myself mentally, and to train myself to be this amazing person, person inside of me, not so much on the outside, because I was really good goalkeeper. I'm still a really good goalkeeper, but I was trained in the inside. I was training here, not so much in here. Like, if you have only one of those, it doesn't really make sense, and you don't really get to use its full power. But if you start training and you have both of them, the skills and the mindset, you get to make really good chemistry, and you really become an expert on what you do. You really differentiate yourself from anybody else, and you become, for myself, one of the top goalies in my team and my age. So long story short, then time goes by. I will leave violin and soccer up until that moment. I am 10 years old at this point in time. Now I kept playing that same team until I was about 14 years old, 14, 15, 15 years old, 15 years old. And once I was 14 years old, a little bit back, I went on a trip, my first international trip to Europe, by myself with my school. So this is it's called BEO, British English Olympics, and I went on to compete with my school. We had different types of I don't know how to call them. Competitions such as keynotes, debates, costumes, whatever. But that's not important. What's important that was the first time ever that I got to be free, as in to show who I really am, to get to meet people out of my common circle, and to truly show some parts of me that I wasn't even aware of, that I was truly. I have never been an introvert, but I'm kind of in the middle, you know. So it's really hard for me to express who I really am, or it was at least. Right now I'm trying to let it out as much as possible with you guys, to all my passion to be so over the top with who I really am. So that was the first time I got to meet who I was inside, out of soccer, out of anything, out of the passion, like my skills, my mindset, my intuitiveness. Like I got to know me, and that was really cool on that trip. Getting to know more people, talking to more accents, getting to know cultures. That really opened my eyes onto the possibilities around the world. That not everything was like so bad as it is in Mexico, and that not everything was so bad as it is at home, but that there's more opportunity, that there is even more than I had my eyes open to. And one amazing thing that I'm telling this story for is that, as I told you, I kept playing violin. I keep playing violin today, and on that trip there was another talent show. But this talent show was not like Coca-Cola. This was not in front of tens, maybe 100 people. That talent show. This talent show was against 170 different schools from around the world, from around at least I think 30 different countries. 170 schools who had many different talents, many different gifts, and we were all competing for one single place. And I went on to the tryouts. I played really good, not so good, but I played good, and I passed on to the final round, it was just 2 semifinals and finals. And on that final round, 10 minutes before I need to go into stage, all my cords broke. So I was like crazy on the backyard of the auditorium, which used to be this really cool church in England. And I was fixing my violin 10 minutes before. I have never felt nervousness. I have never felt like that itchy pain of being in a compromised situation, but I was just not in my comfort zone, and I didn't know what I would expect. But since I was 8 years old and I kept doing that day, I was 100% confident. I had absolutely no doubt, I mean 0 doubt, that this would be one of the best days of my life, and that not matter the result, which I already knew that I would win, even before I got to play. I knew that I would play with all my heart, and that my hands would not be moving the notes, but my heart would. So I had the courage. I even stepped up and raised my hand to be the first one to participate in that. And it was not 100 people. It was in a single church. It was more than 2,500 people, more than 2,500 people from my age, from different countries, my friends, people who I don't know. Imagine that, like I myself in front of those people, I felt the exact same way I felt when I was really little and in front of 100 people in the Coca-Cola talent show. And I played Pirates of the Caribbean by David Garrett, and it was an amazing experience. I gave it all I had. I gave my heart into it, and like everyone was crazy. I still have that video up on my Facebook account, and it was amazing. And why it was so amazing was because I knew in that moment that failure was not an option ever, and that success for me sometimes was like mid-level, like I don't know, like being like my parents, having money, 9 to 5 job. I don't know. I just knew in that moment, in front of more than 20 different countries, in front of more than 2,000 people, that I can do anything that, and on scale. I mean, meaning that I could conquer the world. That there was absolutely no barriers, no frontiers, no countries, no laws, no nothing that could stop me from making my dreams come true. Now I'm not talking only about my goals, but my dreams, my crazy ass dreams of being this amazing person. Like since I was about 5 years old, or and so on, my mom used to ask me, what car do you want to be your first car? And I always said BMW, Porsche. And she told me, and how are you gonna accomplish that? I don't know, but I will. So I always love this metaphor of jumping out of the plane and building the wings on your way down. And that's exactly what I used to do. And yeah, that was amazing, the getting to know myself, and at the same time having one of the best moments of my entire life, playing with all my heart, being recognized, because it has nothing wrong, feeling good about being recognized by other people. I wasn't it wasn't normal for me to be recognized by people for my like in scale, right? Like, I mean, my mom, my dad, my family used to recognize me, but it's not the same than having a lineup of more than 30 different girls from around the world, pretty girls around the world, taking pictures of you and wanting to take pictures with you and screaming. That's really cool, and that's a really cool feeling. It has nothing bad to feel that way. And yeah, that's about England. About my trip over there. And now let's go even forward. Now it's 2016, and one of my dreams was to study abroad in Canada, in Vancouver. And so I told this idea to my dad, that I want to study all high school, because remember, there's my passion for violin, there's my passion for soccer, my dreams to become a professional soccer goalkeeper player, to play in the World Cup and everything. That's my true dream, and I'm working hard for it. And I knew that here in Mexico it would be really tough, because the situation it's hard. It's not the competitiveness, but it's it's just not fit and not easy to be. You need money, you need relationships, you need it's not nice. So I knew that if I wanted to keep playing soccer and go to chase my dream, and if I wanted to play professional violin too, because I also wanted to keep developing my skills in violin, I had to go abroad. So that's what I did. I made all my paperwork, I investigated all my own, I made my research, everything to be capable of going to live to Vancouver, Canada, Burnaby Central Secondary School, on starting August 2016, 3 years ago almost already. Wow, 3 years ago, damn, time flies by. But okay, it's the story about that. I get to meet on one of the first days in Vancouver. I get to meet the person who would be, and still is right now, the love of my life, my girlfriend Ana Cecilia, whom you will be hearing a lot about on these podcast episodes. I get to meet her. She's also from Mexico, but we met there in Canada. And there happened two little issues happened when I was there. First of all, the school I chose, they promised and they sold to me that they had both a really professional amateur soccer program for me to start developing my skills and become a professional, and that they had a really nice, really recognized orchestra in the school. So it was my dream come true. I have both the three things: school, and violin and soccer. But guess what? It was not an orchestra. It was a marching band. And for those of you who don't know what a marching band is and the difference between an orchestra and a marching band, an orchestra plays classical music. Marching band is trumpets and trombones, like those which you can see on football games in America. So yeah, a violinist can do nothing in there, but just watch. It's not my favorite thing in the world, and I was really sad about it. But I just didn't cross my arms in there. I decided to Google for the best top 5 amateur symphonic orchestras in the area of where I lived, and I emailed each of them asking for a tryout, sending my portfolio, what I'm passionate about, where I come from, and everything. And out of those 5, 3 answered to me the next day, telling me when to go to meet them because they were interested in me. And I went to the highest level. I was like, man, there's absolute no way I'm gonna get in this, but I'm gonna still go and still gonna try. And I'm just gonna trust that this process is gonna work out in the future. So I practiced my butt off during one whole week, practicing a really hard song. And I come into the audition, into the tryout, and guess what? This song was about 6 minutes long. I couldn't play more than 16 seconds. The orchestra master was just like, okay, that's enough for me. And I was like, shit, what's going on? Okay, so I really like that. Can you stay to play with us today? And so on that moment, you could not imagine my happiness, because I was not only in Canada to play in an orchestra in my school, but I was about to enter one of my passions in a symphonic orchestra on Vancouver. So I just couldn't believe myself, and that accomplishment's really big thing for me. Out of there, I learned how to be more passionate about music. I learned how to be more passionate about in what I do. My homestay family didn't let me play much violin. I didn't feel comfortable because I didn't want to make noise with them, and they wouldn't let me either. So I just didn't practice, but still I went and I played my heart off. I became one of the top positions in the orchestra. It's called Lions Gate Youth Orchestra from North Vancouver, for those of you who are familiar with the area, and maybe you can go watch them. The orchestra master is Clyde Mitchell, amazing music man, and especially amazing human being. I love him, and I learned so many things from him. But anyhow, getting back in track, so I entered to this orchestra, and guess what? The professional soccer academy that these people sold to me was like a children's play for me. It was not professional, it was not even amateur, it was like just go and spend some time of classes on a soccer field. You can imagine I felt sick to the stomach for being in there, so I just couldn't handle it anymore. And I played on my normal school's team, not on the academy, on the team for about 2 weeks. And one of the elder guys who were already a senior saw that I had skill and told me, man, so my uncle is U21 second to pro coach here in Vancouver, here in Burnaby, the city I used to live in. Why don't you give him a call and go to try out? They're looking for a goalie like you. So I did it. I went into there, and long story short, I also became part of the U21 Warriors FC team, which is second to professional already. Like, I was already about to accomplish my dream of becoming a professional soccer athlete and goalkeeper, which was amazing. So yes, I got really angry that it wasn't what I expected when I arrived to my school, but I trusted in advance that it would always work out, and that there was a reason for that to happen to me, and that it would all make sense eventually. And as you can see, it did make sense. Maybe like in that moment, once I entered the orchestra, once I entered the soccer team, I could see that it made sense, but now I can see how impactful it has been on my life ever since. So believe me, this is amazing. And long story short, I had already my whole life planned out. I would stay to live in Vancouver the rest of my life. I would become a pro soccer player in there. I already have a couple offers to stay for the Whitecaps team there, which is the professional team. But then on November 2016, I'm playing violin. I'm running my passion. I am playing soccer on the top level. I am becoming really successful in what my dreams were. November 2016, I get a phone call from my mother, and she let me know that 3 months before, like this already happened 3 months before I get to know, my parents got a divorce. So that really hit me. And on that same call, when I get to know that my parents got a divorce, she tells me there's not gonna be enough money for you to stay in Vancouver. I need you to turn down the offer from the soccer team, from the professional soccer team, and I need you to come back to Mexico this year. So it's not gonna be all high school. It's just gonna be up until next August 2017. In that moment, my life breaks down. I already had a plan, a path, a step-by-step guide of what my life would look like, and as of that moment, I felt lost, and I just couldn't. I didn't know what to do next, and as someone who already knows what to do next, like in that moment, I just felt completely empty and whole, and I just didn't know what to do. So out of there, the only reason why I didn't had a mental breakdown was that I had Cecilia with me to hold my hand and keep me accountable to my strengths and to my perseverance and to my heart, to my courage, to my soul, to who I am. If it wasn't for her, I don't know what would be of me right now, because I really had so much. It affected me at a point in which I had this thing. It's like a sickness. It's like I don't know how to call it, but the thing is, my mind felt really bad psychologically. So it sent signals to my body that it was wrong, that it was not healthy, even though no scan ever or no doctor ever knew anything, because there was actually nothing. But I just stopped being able to feel my legs, and I was practically I couldn't walk anymore as a normal person would. Like, you could touch my skin and I barely felt, and I could walk, but you would see me falling all the time. I started getting anxiety attacks, panic attacks, like really deep. Since this moment that I start to lose the strength in my legs and that I can barely walk, I have to leave my soccer team. I have to leave the Warriors FC U21. It was difficult for me. I kept playing violin, but there was even a day that I couldn't enter to rehearsal because I just had this horrific anxiety attack. It all came down to a moment where I was like literally out of an acupuncture session that I thought was gonna be helpful, but my body, after I went out, I crossed the street, I went onto McDonald's because I started feeling kind of dizzy. I went into the bathroom, I couldn't see myself well, the mirror was all blurry, and I just fell down onto a chair in the McDonald's in Vancouver's downtown, and I was unable to move anymore. In that moment, I just couldn't feel my legs, I just couldn't move my fingers, my mouth. I at the same time I had an anxiety attack, so I was crying my eyes out, and I just couldn't move. I managed after a couple minutes to move my fingers to my phone, and I managed to call my mother first to ask for what to do, because she's a doctor and she couldn't help. Like, what do you do in that position? And then she told me to call an ambulance. I called Cecilia, and she brought she contacted a couple of friends who were able to come in to rescue me and to take me to the emergency room. Yeah, that was pretty tough. In that moment, I completely thought that I would never be able to walk again. So yeah, that was tough, but it's, as I told you, it's all part of the journey. and I knew that it had a reason to be, and that it will all make sense eventually, even if I didn't want it to make any sense, even if I just didn't want to think about anything in that moment. But thanks to God, I got better. I could walk a couple hours after that. I could start walking. I started to feel normal again. That went on and on and on and on and on until I came back to Mexico. I kept playing music. I loved playing music in there. It's one of the things that I miss the most about being in Vancouver. That kept happening, but I was quite like normal being, but with this deficiency. And then in Vancouver, my entrepreneurial journey began on March 2017, because I always had this dream, this crazy dream of going on a helicopter over the city of Vancouver, just sightseeing. But now I had a girlfriend, as you already heard, and now the dream was to bring her and me on a helicopter ride. So I wanted to make this trip with her. I just didn't have any money, as you heard my mom said, like I barely had money to eat and survive in Vancouver, like $100 a month, so that's barely nothing. And how would an 16 year old take his girlfriend on a helicopter ride? Obviously, I couldn't work. I couldn't go into a Starbucks or something as an employee, because I had a study visa, so I just couldn't work. So what I did was I fought all my negative mindset parts in my body. I fought all the resistance I had. I pulled my pants up. I grabbed my bow, my violin, and a couple scores. And I walked down to the SkyTrain. I went to Vancouver city center, and I just placed my case, and I started to play violin against all my comfort zone, against all my negative beliefs. Here in Mexico, it's seen as a really bad thing, but in Vancouver, it's like you just do art and you just do art. That's why I did it too. But it was hard for me, so I go on and do this, and the results were amazing. After 13 days of playing 3 hours a day, I not only got money to buy and to accomplish my dream of inviting Cecilia onto the helicopter ride, but I also got money for more stuff and to live a proper life, at least for the next 2 months next month in Vancouver before I left back to Mexico City. And yeah, I will upload that video of the helicopter ride later on. It's on my previous personal YouTube channel, but I will upload it to Oswapreneur YouTube channel, so you can see it too. And it was an amazing moment, and as I told you, like it all made sense. It all made sense that I didn't have enough money. Like if I put myself in the place of having all the money in the world, and that I could just call my dad and ask him for money so that I could do this, I don't think it would have benefited me in any way. And now I know that gave me strength, that gave me maturity, that gave me so many valuable things and amazing things that only life can teach you. Like having to truly fight for what you want. Like normally a person would say, well, that sounds like a really cool idea, but there's just no way, there's no money. So yeah, they would just sit and do nothing. But I came out of my comfort zone and I did something. Okay, now going back to Mexico, August 2017. I felt lost. If you have ever gone abroad onto an exchange, you will feel totally related to this. I felt lost. I didn't want to be here. Things in my house obviously had changed since my dad was already not living with us anymore, and I felt completely lost. I didn't want to be in the high school I was. I just didn't like it here. And what I learned afterwards was that my girlfriend, she lives in Mexico City. I live like 1 hour away from her, driving in car. But I didn't have a car at that moment, so if I wanted to go see her, I had to take a couple buses, about 2 hour trip, 2 and 2 hour trips to go back. So yeah, it was tough, and my parents wouldn't give me any money. obviously, because they didn't have money. How would I want them to give me money to go travel and see my girl? So I had to work for it. And in high school, I noticed that there was some people selling chips, selling candy, and I was like, how can I do this, something like this, getting more profit, and how can I start to move away from all the red ocean in my school. And that's the moment that I thought, well, I will sell Krispy Kreme donuts. No one is doing this, everybody loves them, and I will get a sweet profit margin. So I have a secret in which I have a trick with Krispy Kreme that if you go and see the tickets, they give you a discount if you answer a survey. And I started selling donuts. I sold at least 3 dozen donuts a day in my school. I profited about 300%, and yeah, it was really funny because I earned at least $10,000, $8,000, $10,000 in one single year. And what I also learned from that was I didn't have resources, but I became a resourceful person, and that's the difference between normal and greatness. Like, you don't have to have money, you do not need to have all the resources in the world. The only thing you need is to be resourceful and to find your way out of anything. And so that's what I did. So yeah, I was resourceful, and also it was awesome because when summer came in, I had to keep working because I had to keep seeing my girlfriend. And I thought, what skills do I have that can be sold and that can help me, because I cannot sell donuts right now because we are in summer, there's no school. And I started to give courses of social media marketing to moms, to my mother's friends, and to moms, like literally to mothers. Because I don't know if you relate to this, but my mother just doesn't know how to even open Facebook. So, and some of them have businesses and they don't know how to leverage social media for their business. So that's what I did. I helped them and I taught them how to leverage social media and how to begin a social media profile, and etc. 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 I started getting some profit from them, and then I started seeing that I really like that I really like the possibility of not only selling, but also of automating processes through social media, and that's what I do now. On the meanwhile, since this podcast has already been a little bit longer than I expected, so that to make the story shorter, I entered in a couple network marketing businesses. Well, it was amazing. I started out because I wanted to get money to buy my first car. I wanted to buy my first car the day of my birthday, of my 18th birthday. Things came by, potholes in the road and everything, and I wasn't able to buy that car in that year. Yeah, I wasn't able to buy that car all 2018. But I kept working, I kept selling, I kept going door to door selling water purifiers and wellness products. Then on July, I started to get also better, because since I arrived, because I didn't tell you about my legs, I started getting better, and today, thanks to God, I am a normal person. I still work, I got back to work out, I can still play soccer, and all of these thanks to a company which I have partnered with, which is called Immunotech, which has a product called Immunocal, that just helped my immune system, and I also got a hypnosis therapy, and at the end of the day, I'm much better today. If you were wondering, I am a normal person. I can walk. I don't need to have any treatment or anything of the sort. So yeah, that happened, and then I kept working until it was about October 2018 that I decided that I wanted to do something greater, that I wanted to have my own company and do something for myself, have my own clients, have my own products and my own services. And that's when TRM Digital burns. So is born. TRM Digital stands for the rise of the media digital, and what I wanted to start was doing social media advertising. I had already some clients for the consulting jobs, for the courses and etc. But what I wanted to do social media marketing and to do sales funnels and processes and etc. 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 I started getting a couple momentum, and it was until November last year that I decided that it was time for me to start investing in myself. And in that moment, I bought Iman Gadji's 6-figure SMMA course, and I completely loved it. It was the first really big investment that I did in myself. 1 week went by, and I got about 9 meetings the first week. I closed my first couple clients in that week, starting to gain momentum. And right now, it's what I breathe, it's what I preach, it's what I talk about, what I do, what I'm passionate about. All my world turns around marketing and around sales and around my heroes and my mentors too, and the masterminds that I'm part of. And yeah, that's my passion now. So marketing, sales. I actually have more than 7 years experience because I had an online shop with my dad for goalkeeper equipment and soccer equipment. But nevertheless, like, I started to do that on a more serious way. I opened now I'm starting to hire people. This is a company that we have managed over, I don't know, $100,000 in ad spend, which is like the social proof of the experience that we get with clients. We get crazy results for clients. We get 10x results for our clients while they lower at half their time. And yes, I am passionate about it. I will talk to you more about marketing, about tips, about selling online tips. I consider myself an expert. I have I absolutely love it. Since the moment I wake up every day at 4 a.m. to the moment I sleep at 10, it's all I do, it's all I breathe, it's my world. I will be teaching you more about this, and you will be seeing more about this on the next podcasts and on my social media. And look out for my stories, etc., etc., etc. Now TRM Digital, it's really well. It's getting bigger. It's a really big. It's getting bigger. I'm still the chief strategist officer, as I call myself. I do selling. I do the funnels. I do the advertising and everything. I'm starting to hire more people into the team. It's awesome. And if you have any questions about that, you can also comment down in the sections about online sales, about anything, and I will be really glad to answer every single one of you. Well, yeah, that's where we are today, and I have been dying for months to record this podcast, and today I am finally doing so with you. I promise I will be here every single day with you. It's gonna be an amazing journey. Like, everything that has happened for a reason. I trusted the process. I trusted that it will all, at the end of the day, just work out the way it's supposed to. I trusted that with my resiliency, with my resourcefulness, with my mindset, with my perseverance, everything would work out as I planned to, and that there's no dream that I cannot accomplish. And I know that, and I still believe that, and I will believe that for the rest of my life. So that's part of my story. Obviously, it's not everything. I cannot tell you everything. It would take us 24 hours to talk about it. If you have questions, if you like this, please comment down below. Please leave a review. Tell me what you thought about this. If you would like to have more podcasts about my life, if you want to go deeper into a story, onto a phase in my life, I will talk to you for sure more about my company and about TRM, about my clients, about my art, my craft. And well, yes, now I am passionate to helping and to get all that knowledge and all that wisdom and experience that I've acquired through these years. I want to let it out and help other young entrepreneurs like yourself. Yeah, I'm talking to you, directly to you. I want to help you to become a better entrepreneur, to become more successful, more fulfilled in life, and more happy. I'm free. I want you to be free. Remember that. I will always want you to be free. That is my purpose, to free people and to become entrepreneurs and to help the world with this. So I think there's nothing left for me to say. Please go follow me on all social media. It's at Oswapreneur. Remember, at Oswapreneur. I will leave that down here in the comment section if you're in YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, or in the description if you're in podcasts. And well, thanks for staying with me all this ride. Thanks for listening to me. I hope this related to you in any way. I hope that this will help you become a better person and that you will apply some of this knowledge and especially this resourcefulness and this trusting in advance for what's gonna happen or is happening right now to you. Please comment down below how will you take massive action today, right now, in this moment, to be more resourceful and to start trusting your process. Please let me know. Follow. Please leave a review so that this message can get higher on the ratings and can get to more people who need this message. Share it with your friends. Share it with your family, with your associates. Yeah, it was a great time. I love talking about this. Please let me know what you think about the podcast. If you have any entrepreneurial or business related questions, comment down below. Or if you just want to say hi, comment down below. I will make sure to read each and every one of your comments and engage with you too on every social platform. So that's it for me. Comment, review, share, thumbs up, and yeah, keep tuned for next podcast. It will be a really amazing topic. I cannot wait to share it with you guys. I would like to stay in the car and talk with you all day long, but there's a business that needs to happen today. And I will let you know in the next podcast. It's gonna be an amazing topic. Please wait for it, share it, and stay tuned and subscribe so that you can be the first ones to get a hold of this. So it's been an awesome time talking to you. I hope you enjoy this podcast. Remember to comment down below how will you take massive action right now. And yeah, talk to you on the next podcast. This is Oswaldo. Have an awesome day.